Let's rank the top 12 running backs in the ACC. I've already done the SEC and the Big 10 and the Big 12, so if you want to watch those, go check those out. But yeah, let's talk about the ACC. A really fun conference going into this year. You have some playoff contenders with Miami, Clemson, and NC State. You have Louisville. You have Florida State, obviously. But yeah, a really good conference. And this running back list, I would put it up against the Big 12 with how deep it is and how many good backs there are at the start of this list. It's a really good conference running back position. And I have 3 running backs that didn't make the list, so they'll be my honorable mentions. I literally just switched out 12 and 13, so these are really good quality backs that could have made the top 12, and they could prove me wrong this year. First, we have Roydell Williams, been at Alabama. Now he transfers to Florida State, where he'll be probably running back 2, I believe. You have Treshaun Ward, the former Florida State ACC running back that transferred to Kansas State last year. Now he's back in the ACC at Boston College. And then you have Kadarius Callaway, who is an Old Dominion running back but came over to join Jaden Ott and Cal. So should be a fun running back group over there, but they just barely missed a cut. Number 12, Lawrence Toafili at Florida State. I think he will be RB1 at Florida State this year. He'll share the room with Roydell Williams, who I just mentioned. But he shared the room last year with a lot of really good, solid running backs from Florida State, Trey Benson and company. But last year he had 700 scrimmage yards, 5 touchdowns, and averaged almost 6 yards a carry. But I think he'll be the running back 1 this season for Florida State. Number 11, Jaquez Moore at Duke. He's going into his 4th season at Duke, and he had 800 yards and 5 touchdowns last season in a year where he shared touches with Jordan Waters, who I'll mention in just a little bit. But this year he should get most of the carries, and I think he'll explode in 2024. Number 10, Jalen Knighton at SMU. Had a great year last year at SMU with 800 yards, 8 touchdowns. But I think his best year was 2021 when he was actually at Miami, and he had 800 yards and 11 touchdowns that season. He enters an adjustment year for SMU coming to the ACC, but I think they'll be fine. Number 9, Kai Robico at Boston College. He's coming off a season, a quadruple 8 season with 888 total yards and 8 touchdowns. Kind of a first that I've ever seen with that stat line. But last year was his first year at Boston College. Spent the last 2 years at Western Kentucky before he transferred. And this season he'll share the backfield with Thomas Castellanos and Treshaun Ward, the Kansas State running back transfer. One of the fastest backfields in the country. Number 8, Jordan Waters at NC State. New running back at NC State. It was actually an interconference transfer that he transferred from Duke, and he's going into his 6th year, and he spent the last 5 seasons at Duke, but last year was his best year, going for almost 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns. Now he goes to NC State, where he'll be the main running back, and obviously a very favorable schedule at NC State, a great coach in Dave Dorn, and a really good transfer quarterback in Grayson McCall. Number 7, Jamal Haynes at Georgia Tech. He really found his position last year at running back. 1,200 total yards and 8 touchdowns for the Yellow Jackets, and he averaged over 6 yards a carry. So an amazing year for him. Him and Haynes King should have a lot of fun this season, and he really started to heat up at the end of the season last year, so there's a lot of momentum going for him and Georgia Tech as a whole. Number 6, LaQuint Allen at Syracuse. Does not get talked about enough. Last year he had 1,300 total yards and 10 touchdowns. He's entering his 3rd year there, and he has a brand new coaching staff with Fran Brown coming over from his position at Georgia, brand new quarterback, and Kyle McCord coming from Ohio State. So should be a fun year for Syracuse. Number 5, Bashaw Tootin at Virginia Tech. He's coming off a great season at Virginia Tech, and really his first year, even though he's a senior coming up this season. Had 1,100 total yards, 12 touchdowns, and over 240 yards receiving as well. Him and Kyron Jones in the backfield. It'll be a great season for Virginia Tech, and they have so much momentum. Number 4, Phil Maffa at Clemson. He's going into his 4th year there, and he really broke out last season. 1,000 yards and 13 touchdowns. And he practically won them that Notre Dame game when they gave him almost 40 carries in that one. But he shared the backfield with Will Shipley last year, who's a great Clemson running back and one of the great running backs over the past couple years for Clemson. But Will Shipley's now gone, and Phil Maffa's definitely the running back 1, and so he should be a national household name this season. Number 3, Damian Martinez at Miami, the new Miami running back. enters a situation where they have such high hopes and expectations. He's coming off 2 years at Oregon State where he was great for them, 2 1,000+ yard seasons, and last year he had 1,300 yards and 9 touchdowns. And now he goes into Miami where he will be running back 1 there, the main guy in the backfield. And it will be so fun to watch Miami this season. He led Oregon State to 2 really good seasons, to 8-4 last year, and I think they got 10 wins in 2022. And Damian Martinez is one of the best running backs in the country. Number 2, Jaden Ott at California. 2 years at California, over 1,200 total yards in both of those seasons. Last year he had 1,500 total yards with 14 touchdowns. And he's also 6 foot, so a pretty tall running back. Looks like a track star when he's got the football. He's entering a critical year for Justin Wilcox, the head coach of California, and he'll be the staple on offense. He'll carry a big load for them because they're still trying to figure it out with Fernando Mendoza at quarterback or Chandler Rogers from North Texas, who's a really good quarterback. Both are pretty good quarterbacks, but they will have to rely on Jaden Ott to kind of figure out where their footing is. But at number 1, Omarion Hampton at North Carolina. He could very well be the best running back in the country. Last year at North Carolina, he put up ridiculous numbers, 1,700 total yards, 16 touchdowns, and he averaged almost 6 yards a carry with 250 rushes. Just an insane stat line. And he had 7 games with 100+ rushing yards or more. This season, he'll be relied on even more than he would be if the quarterback situation was normal. Last season with Drake May, they knew they were going to pass a lot because of how good he was, but they also knew they had to feature Omarion Hampton a lot too. This year, they're going to rely on Omarion Hampton twice as much as they did last year. With the quarterback situation being Max Johnson, Connor Harrell, and even Jacoby Criswell fighting for that starting position. I think Max Johnson will get the start at the beginning of the season. Maybe Connor Harrell, who's supposed to be the future of the program, will get a lot of playing time this season, but Omarion Hampton will get a lot of touches as he should. And I'm excited about where I'm going to put him on my top 10 running backs in the entire country list. But yeah, guys, that is my top 12 running backs ranking in the ACC. Like and subscribe. Comment what you disagree with below on this list. If you like these type of lists, I've already done the quarterbacks for all conferences, and I've done the running back rankings for SEC, Big 10, and Big 12. Next, I'll do the G5 running back rankings and the entire country top 10 or 12 list for the running backs. So that should be fun. Follow us on TikTok, 3&Out CFB, and on Twitter, 3&Out_CFB. I appreciate y'all for watching.